Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Game Time Sports Network. We're here for a little postseason special, NFL. The whole crew's here. We had planned a little bit of an interview, but unfortunately, our interviewer was...
We got big timed, plain and simple.
He canceled on us.
It's like an abusive relationship.
But
Whoa.
We'll reschedule. Everything's all good. And luckily,
once we hit it big time, we'll show them.
Yeah, exactly. And luckily, we had some stuff planned, so we're not going to talk all day, but, very important week we're facing. We're coming into the NFL postseason, so we thought we would all share our thoughts on the upcoming wild card games.
Yeah, so as we enter into the postseason, we're going to do a special little NFL podcast right here. So we'll kick it off with our brackets. We all made a bracket for the NFL playoffs, how we see it pan out, and we'll discuss, debate what each of us have. So who'd like to start off? Joe, you want to start us off?
So, do you guys want to go
game by game?
We'll each give
All right.
Okay. We'll start off with in the wild card round, Houston versus Oakland. I don't want to talk about this game. Whoever wins is going to get stomped on by the Pats.
Yep.
Because I don't think Miami's beating Pittsburgh. I have Oakland 16-10. I think it's going to be not a defensive battle, just offensive.
Did you have scores for every game?
I have scores for every game. I'm not going to do that.
That's aggressive.
It's bold.
I also have Oakland. I just think that Brock Osweiler is the worst quarterback in the league, and they're not going to be able to score. And, I don't really think Oakland's going to be able to score either because of Connor Cook under center. It's just going to be the worst playoff game
not
ever.
watching that.
The Raiders are just going to win in a grudge match. Like,
Houston
will
lose.
Watch.
Houston will lose.
Yeah.
The Oakland won't win.
I don't even want to watch. And it's a shame because Oakland had a pretty good team with Derek Carr. So, I got Oakland in there.
Well, I too have Oakland, but I don't really have much to add there. It's going to be a bad game. We all know that. And
Save our breath.
it's going to be close, but it's not going to be too entertaining unless it's just the worst game of all time.
I definitely didn't make this bracket 5 minutes ago, but I saw Houston and Oakland, and for the reasons that my peers have said, that pretty sure Houston wasn't going to take the dub, so looks like everyone had Oakland for that one.
It's funny because most people, when you look at professionally, have Houston, but either way, they're both going to get trounced on by the Pats.
Yep.
What reason would a professional pick Houston for?
Because Derek Carr's out. And they have
When
Connor
you
Cook.
consider Brock Osweiler, he's not good, but I guess he's technically a starter. A guy like Connor Cook, this is his first NFL game ever.
I think it's more that Houston's at home, too.
Yeah, that obviously plays a role, too.
I think there's a higher chance that Connor Cook has a breakout game and is kind of like beginner's luck almost than Brock Osweiler playing a somewhat decent game.
It could obviously go either way, but just my kind of thought process was I feel that Oakland's just a more rounded team, but that could very well just be because they had Derek Carr, who was playing very, very well, and maybe he just led them to that 12-4 record or 11-5, whatever they are. So I don't really know. It could go either way. Just put it.
Yeah, let's
I
stop
leave
talking
it at
about
this
this
terrible
game.
game.
Leave it at that.
Yeah, we've
All right,
discussed this
to
enough.
the other AFC matchup,
All right.
Joe.
Pittsburgh, Miami. I have Pittsburgh 31-17. Miami won last time, but I don't know. Pittsburgh, they're looking for blood. I don't think they're great, but I think they're better than Miami, who's a fraud team. So, next.
I have Pittsburgh, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think Miami doesn't have that good of a roster, but they somehow stay in games and have won games. Are they 10-6?
10-6.
I don't know how. Matt Moore I think is better than Ryan Tannehill, and I think that he's overall a bit of a better quarterback.
They both smell.
They're both not that good, but I think it'll be a closer game than people think. I think the line's like 10.5 or something, which I think is a little ridiculous. But I think Pittsburgh's going to win in a close one.
I agree. I think Pittsburgh's a solid playoff team. I think they have a solid coaching system. They just beat the Browns with like fourth strings. That was kind of crazy. They tried to give the win away, and they're just like, nah. Like, they sat pretty much anyone who had football experience before, and those guys coming out nicely rested. I think it's going to be a great game, but I think Pittsburgh's going to come on top.
Chris, this is a rematch of your first upset pick that came to be true. Miami over Pittsburgh.
That's
way
true.
back when.
I picked Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Way
back when.
I'm reversing. Way back when.
All right.
Mark, what do you got?
So you all say it's going to be a close game. I think Pittsburgh's going to kill them, to be honest with you.
I agree.
I think that Roethlisberger, Brown, Bell, they're really starting to click right now. That offense, the team as a whole, has really been improving as the season goes on. Even the defense, which was one of the worst in the NFL to begin the year, is starting to look like a pretty good unit now. And I mean, it's the same old story with Miami. They're never really that good. They have Matt Moore at quarterback. They're going to Pittsburgh, which, I mean, I'm just going to assume it's going to be somewhat cold weather. And they're from Miami, so they won't be used to it. And, yeah, I think Pittsburgh wins it by at least 2 touchdowns.
All right, over to the NFC side. Sticking with the wild card round, we have Detroit at Seattle. A lot of people picking Seattle. Joe, what do you got?
Detroit stinks. Seattle's good. Seattle.
I don't
Mark?
think it's that cut and dry.
Seattle's going to kill them.
No, I don't.
Not even
Look,
gonna be fun.
In like around mid-year, I was very high on Seattle, but they just keep kind of falling off. Injuries have hurt them. Their play has just kind of been faltering. Russell Wilson, he's just been up and down all year. They don't have a run game. It's not like Seattle's this big menacing elite team anymore. So with Detroit, Matt Stafford's having a pretty good season, and Detroit always hangs around in every single game they played. So it could be close, and they might be able to steal it. But ultimately, I'm gonna pick Seattle.
I was gonna say exactly what Mark said. I have been completely unimpressed with Seattle in the second half of the season. I thought they'd run away as the favorite in the NFC. And they've kind of faltered a little bit. And, I mean, that's obviously due to the injuries of Earl Thomas and Tyler Lockett, among others. And I've just been unimpressed with them. I think it's going to be a very close game. I was tempted to pick Detroit, but I ended up going with Seattle just because
Play it safe.
they've been there the last 3 years and always kind of came to play and won games that they should have in the playoffs. So I'll go with Seattle.
Chris?
I also had Seattle. Really not much I can add. People look at Detroit like they're the Browns, but they're not. They're a pretty good team, but Seattle's a very good team, so they're going to come out on top.
I like the diversity in our bracket so far.
Seattle, I would say, other than New England, is the best operation in the NFL.
So
Probably, yeah, you're
I'd
probably
agree.
right.
we have had pretty much the same stuff. Do you guys?
We've had
But this
exactly
last
the same
game,
stuff.
I think this last game will be there'll be some different
hot
picks.
take. Whoever wins this game that we're going to be talking about will reach the Super Bowl.
That
in
would be
NFC.
the Giants against the
I
Packers.
don't know if that's the hottest take.
It's
in
not the hottest
Yeah.
take. That's a pretty common take, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I've heard
that's
that
Let's be
before.
honest.
That's lukewarm at
So,
best.
Joe, who do you
yeah.
have in this game?
I have in an overtime thriller game for the ages, the New York Giants squeaking out a 27-24 victory versus Ben Pierce's idol,
a
Aaron
home
Rodgers.
team playing
A home team.
at home.
Yep.
The Packers, right?
It's going to be the Giants, and they're going to squeak it out, and it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous. This Giants team is dangerous. Please, Aaron Rodgers, play great. Throw Hail Marys to Jeff Janis, whoever, whatever small white guy you have, and just please, just get the Giants out while you can, because that team just gives me nightmares.
Well, as we said, this is kind of a game where a lot of people think that the NFC representative in the Super Bowl could come from, and I think the same thing, just as Joe said earlier. But I'm going to pick the opposite team, the Green Bay Packers. They're coming in on six straight wins, so they're playing some great football right now. Aaron Rodgers, who a lot of people are saying is going to win the MVP, I think he's just going to come out and just beat Aaron Rodgers, beat the Giants. It's going to be close, but I think the Packers have the edge there, just in terms of offense and defense.
Now, regardless of who you've chosen for Green Bay in New York, would you say the Giants will beat Dallas? I'd say yes.
I think so.
Tyler?
Yeah, probably.
So
Definitely.
yeah, so I picked Green Bay. I think Green Bay is one of the few teams that could beat New York in the playoffs. I think people kind of overlook them because they've had some really bad moments this season. But I think they're going to put things together. I think some of their players know how to step it up in the postseason. Again, I think it's a well-coached team. So I think they're going to do all right against New York.
I have Green Bay as well. It's
I'm the
again a
lone
really
wolf.
tough game to pick.
It's a tough game because nobody knows
It's gonna
what
be
Eli. Nobody knows
fun.
what Eli is
It's
going
gonna
to
be fun
bring.
to watch.
And
Eli
that
could bring
offense-
Eli could bring playoff Eli, or we could see
Eli.
Eli. Yeah,
That
you never
offense
know.
really hasn't come to be what it was supposed to be before the season started. I mean, it's really been the Odell Beckham show on offense and really no one else. I mean, Sterling Shepard's had a decent year, no run game to speak of. So, I mean, it's all hinging off of what that offense is going to do.
And then similarly, Green Bay doesn't really have a run game either, so it's just going to be Rodgers versus Eli.
I know, and I mean,
What
the
about the
Packers are on
defense?
fire. Their defense is the Packers' defense is playing a lot
And the
better.
Giants-
What about the Giants?
Both
The Giants'
defenses
defense has
have
been really
playing very
good.
well.
The Giants defense is an elite group. the Packers group is bad.
But the Packers have been on fire.
They've played
and I feel
bad
like
teams.
when Aaron Rodgers is this hot coming into the playoffs and he can continue that, then there's very few teams that can beat them. So I have the Packers in this game. So let's move on to the divisional round. So I think I was going to say that we would each individually say what matchups we have, but we all pretty much have the same matchups.
Except for that Green Bay Giants game.
Correct.
So we can probably skip the New England-Oakland match.
Yes, we're all going to
Does anyone want to argue for Oakland here?
No. We're all going to pick the Patriots.
I would like to say something. I would love
Of course you do.
to just say Oakland has a chance. They don't.
They have no chance.
No chance.
Okay.
As much as I would like to.
So should we
Let's
start?
go to Pittsburgh versus Kansas City.
No one picked Miami?
No.
No one picked Miami.
Figures.
Pittsburgh versus Kansas City. Mark, who do you got?
Pittsburgh. This is a game, another one. It's going to be close. There really isn't a decisive favorite, but Pittsburgh is the team I fear the most in the AFC. And mainly that's just because there's a guy named Ben Roethlisberger as their quarterback, and the Chiefs have a guy named Alex Smith. There's a very big difference there. Pittsburgh has Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and I've kind of said this before. The Chiefs don't really have any dynamic playmakers that scare me.
Honestly, I think
Tyreek
you're gonna say
Hill
Tyreek
and
Hill.
Travis Kelce.
I think there's no.
Travis Kelce does not scare me at all.
I think there's no more threatening triple in the NFL than those three guys right there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and that's why they do scare me a lot because the defense isn't anything special. They are playing better, as I said earlier, but I don't know. The Chiefs, as long as Andy Reid and Alex Smith are the two guys leading them into battle, I will never be afraid of them.
Yeah, I agree with Mark.
I can't add to that.
I agree with Mark. I also have Pittsburgh. I think that offense, like Mark said before, is heating up at the right time. Those three have really gelled together nicely. Probably the best trio in the NFL, like Chris said. And I don't fear Kansas City at all. I just think they're kind of a fraud team, like Joe thinks with the Falcons. And that once it comes to the playoffs, and it actually matters when you have to manage the clock and you're playing good teams.
Andy Reid is not a playoff
He's
coach.
not a good playoff coach.
And Alex Smith is not a good quarterback.
And Alex Smith will shrink in big moments because in reality he's a slightly above average quarterback.
Would you say he's a fraud?
A little bit.
A little
Oh.
bit.
But I mean, not really because he's not
there's
really
nothing
that good.
to fake. Yeah. He's
So
he's
I have
just Alex
Pittsburgh
Smith.
to match up against New England in the AFC Championship. Chris, do you have the same? Do you have Pittsburgh as well?
Oh,
or?
yeah.
You guys are wrong. The Kansas City Chiefs are the team to fear in the American Football Conference.
Okay, next.
They are the most complete team.
I will
If
hear
you
this.
look, their defense.
Their defense hasn't been that good this year. If you look at
They're
it,
gonna have Houston back. They have Eric Berry. They have Marcus Peters. They have Dontari Poe. They have such a good team. They're solid in every facet of the game, and they turn the ball over. And the defense causes turnovers, and they don't turn the ball over on offense. If any team's beating the Patriots in the AFC, which I don't think is likely, but if it were to happen, Pittsburgh has no shot. Pittsburgh scares me zero. Even when Pittsburgh was trotting out James Harris and Troy Polamalu, all these great players on defense, number one defense, never scared me. Mike Tomlin, I think Andy Reid's a better coach than Mike Tomlin. Pittsburgh
that's
doesn't
I don't know. That's close.
Pittsburgh doesn't scare me one iota. Kansas City's gonna win, and
I don't.
and they're at home.
Pittsburgh is a team that should scare you because they had
Not at
they had
all.
Landry Jones at quarterback. And
Yeah,
almost
you
beat
can't
us
say
earlier in the
Pittsburgh
year.
doesn't scare you.
You're telling me at home, an Arrowhead that Pittsburgh's gonna go into Arrowhead and win. That stadium.
So you're telling me that Pittsburgh can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs in
Nope.
the playoffs?
Nope.
What have the Chiefs ever done in the playoffs? Anything?
They haven't accomplished.
What has
anything.
Andy Reid ever done in the playoffs besides reach that
Lose.
Super Bowl in like 04 or whatever it was?
Lose.
Nothing.
I don't know. I mark my words. Kansas City Chiefs are gonna beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, they're marked.
I guess we just disagree. Okay, over on the NFC side, divisional round, we all have Seattle versus Atlanta. I will go first. I have the Falcons. I like the Falcons. I don't. The Seahawks have been trending down in the second half of the season. I don't like them. I feel like they're gonna exit from the playoffs earlier than a lot of people think. And I'm buying the Falcons. I'm sick of people just writing off the Falcons. Oh, they're a fraud team. Oh, their defense stinks. Their offense is probably the best offense in the NFL.
It is the best offense in the NFL.
They have
statistically.
so many weapons, and it's just nearly impossible to play defense on them. It's nearly impossible to hold them under 30 points. And I just don't see Seattle keeping up with them. Russell Wilson, like Mark said, has been a little bit inconsistent this year. And I think Atlanta's defense is good enough to get them by the Seahawks in this game.
Look, this is just your typical offense versus defense battle. Seattle is, even without Earl Thomas, I'd still say they're top 5, if not top 5, top 10 defense in the NFL. And the Falcons, statistically speaking, are the best offense in football. So I'm just going to give the edge to Atlanta as well. I think Atlanta's going to win this. Matt Ryan, who maybe is the MVP this season, with guys like Julio Jones, Taylor Gabriel's really emerged over there. They have the nice little running back combo of
Devonta
Freeman and Coleman. And
Coleman.
as you said, the defense isn't great, but they have some playmakers over there. And against a Seattle team that, they don't really have a run game this year. Wilson struggled. The line is not good at all. I think Atlanta can make something happen there.
All right, so I had Seattle, and I'm going to be
You're
honest.
right.
I agree with a lot of the stuff you two guys just said. It's just that I have never seen Seattle choke. In Seattle, I think they're just going to get by.
You've never seen him choke? What about the Super Bowl, buddy?
No,
pretty big choke.
But that's the New England Patriots. That's not a team that, you know what I mean?
You mean like an unexpected loss?
Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people thought the Patriots were going to win the Super Bowl. Yes, they made a very dumb decision on the 1-yard line. Yada yada yada. Malcolm Butler, great.
There's no shame in losing to Tom Brady in the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Exactly. That's not choking.
Yeah.
That's making a bad play. Yes, Atlanta's really good. Joe's flipping out right now, but they have a fantastic offense. Yes, Earl Thomas is injured, but why bet against a streak, I think Seattle
No,
always.
Look, you really can't go wrong with this game. They're both good teams.
Yeah,
but
I have no problem
I see
if you
both
pick
sides
Seattle.
of this.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to pick a game like this, and I'm just feeling Seattle.
I have no problem picking this game. Atlanta, you stink. You're a fraud. Your defense stinks. Matt Ryan, you're a good, not great quarterback. You're not good. By a score of 38-13, Seattle will walk in.
I'd
to
say
Atlanta,
Matt Ryan,
kick them in the
pretty good.
nuts, and then leave and go on to the NFC Championship game. I pray you're right. I hope Atlanta makes it to the Super Bowl because it wouldn't even be a game against the Patriots. Atlanta, you stink. Oh,
It's a hot
they're
take.
not.
That there is hotter than
Seattle is so much better than Atlanta.
I wouldn't say that about
disagree.
this year, but okay.
You can
Look,
Richard Sherman will not take out Julio Jones.
You
He'll
can just throw
Julio
Julio Jones on the other side of the field, and Sherman's not going to go anywhere near him. Sherman's a one side of the field guy. Just stick some bum Mohamed Sanu over there, and then let Julio Jones
Who's
run
going to cover
wild.
Taylor Gabriel? Who's going to cover
Gabriel,
Mohamed
even
Sanu?
Freeman out of the backfield.
Mohamed Sanu's had a pretty good
you saw
year.
in the Super
You have
Bowl,
two good
you saw
running
in the
backs.
Super Bowl, Shane Vereen was a big problem for Seattle. They really couldn't do anything to stop him. And then
they
the
have two
Falcons have
guys like
Freeman
that.
and Coleman, who are each dynamic playmakers coming out of the backfield.
Who's going to stop Russell Wilson though?
Vic Beasley can get Vic Beasley led the league in sacks this
All right,
year.
congratulations. Vic Beasley's good. It's not even going to be close.
Desmond Trufant's one of the best corners in the league.
Whatever.
Deion Jones was one of the best rookies in the league.
Atlanta stinks. They're
What's
a fraud
that? What's
team.
the safety's
Keanu
name?
Neal.
Keanu
He's a good
Neal.
player,
He's a
too.
good player.
All right,
They have some
congrats.
names.
You stink, Atlanta.
I mean,
You're gonna
We
lose.
just shut
You
you down
just
on
have
that. We
no
just proved you wrong.
credibility
They're a pretty
behind
good
the
team.
statement that they
Well,
stink.
okay,
They have an
me-
MVP
look,
candidate
2 weeks,
quarterback,
Joe,
the number
2
one
weeks we'll
offense.
talk.
Joe,
They
you
don't
want to see
stink.
Joe? Your argument here is that Seattle has notoriously been a good playoff team, which I do agree with. So I can see why you're banking on them showing up in the playoffs. They very well could, maybe even make the Super Bowl, but I just don't see it happening.
Joe,
this year.
the Falcons could lose by 50, and you still can't say they stink. They had a
They
very
stink.
good year.
They
don't,
stink.
though. They don't
They stink. They
You
stink.
can't say that.
Well, we'll talk to you guys.
You know
in
who
2 weeks.
stinks? People who aren't in the playoffs.
Anything,
Kirk Cousins.
any
a
result
thought.
that
Just a
happens in
thought.
that game
Put him
will
in
not
the
change.
Just a
NFC
thought.
South. Put him in the NFC South, and you'll see how they do. Sorry,
a
he had to go
thought.
up against the Giants and the Cowboys 4 times.
Let's move on.
All right, fine.
And listen, he did show Kirk Cousins. I love you, Kirk.
The last divisional matchup, Dallas versus
Well, it depends. who
Green
you
Bay
have.
or
Yeah.
New York, depending on who you have.
So before you make your pick, say your matchup. Just do that.
Well, I mean, Joe's the only one
Yeah,
with a different one.
you guys
Oh,
all have
true.
we all had
True.
Green Bay.
Let's let Joe go
Well,
first.
Joe,
and then the other three will go.
Joe's gonna say the Giants are gonna beat Dallas because they beat them before, and he also said that the Giants are going to the Super Bowl. So
Let's hear what he has to
we
say.
haven't got there
Let's
yet.
hear him. Let's hear him.
Chris is right though. The Giants will beat Dallas. They beat them twice. Dallas kind of a fraud team. I'm sorry. Story, but they stink. No, they don't stink.
Story.
They're fine, but their defense isn't.
They're
that
fine.
good. They're fine. They're
Yeah,
fine.
their defense is overrated.
Their defense is overrated. Their offensive line is great. I don't trust Dak Prescott. Ezekiel Elliott, The Giants' defense is legit, and Eli is legit in the playoffs. 24-21, Dallas.
okay.
I mean, I'm New York.
All
I agree
Dallas
with-
had a pretty good
Yeah.
defense. This
I
year.
agree with everything you said about Dallas. I think Dak Prescott's going to struggle in his first playoff game. And the Packers are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys and go to the NFC Championship game to face the Falcons. I just think that the Packers are just going to go as Aaron Rodgers goes, and if he continues to be hot, that there's pretty much no team that can stop him, except maybe in the Super Bowl, as we'll see with my bracket. But I have Green Bay.
I also have Green Bay, but just to kind of contradict what you said, I don't think Dak Prescott or Elliott are going to have bad games. They're used to the bright lights. I mean, they're playing in Dallas, one of the most popular sports teams in the world, for an entire season. And what was their record? 14-2?
Yeah.
13-3. So I mean, they can play. They're very good players. And against Green Bay, this is exactly what you said. But if Aaron Rodgers keeps doing Aaron Rodgers things, I don't see anybody stopping Green Bay.
Chris, what do you got?
I had Dallas winning.
Okay.
Short and sweet.
Move on to the championship games in both conferences. I have the New England Patriots against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have the Patriots. The Patriots just kind of have the Steelers' number the last decade or so. I think they're 7-3 or 8-2 against them in the last 10 years, something like that.
Insightful stat right there.
Yeah, it's something like that. I forget. But I feel like they just had their number the past decade or so, and it really doesn't matter who the Steelers roll in here unless they have a powerhouse, that the Patriots will win at Gillette and move on to the Super Bowl.
They'll need to steal the win.
Joe, what do you got?
I have Patriots, Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be a close game. Kansas City is a very, very good team, solid in all facets. Patriots are going to have a tough time stopping Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. Their defense is good. They can get to Brady. I think it's going to be very close. I see it being very similar to last year. 27-21 Patriots. It's going to be close. Patriots will go to the Super Bowl, and you know me, I'm always pessimistic. Patriots should get there. I think they will, but it's going to be a lot closer than you think. It's not going to be.
If that matchup ends up
over.
happening, I feel like it will also. I think it will be a close game because the Chiefs definitely have a lot of weapons on offense, and they have a defense that doesn't have that too good of numbers this year, but they'll definitely show up in the playoffs.
So I also have New England and Pittsburgh. I'm just going to keep this short. New England's going to win. I don't think they'll have too much of a problem with Pittsburgh. Even though I said Pittsburgh scares me the most in the AFC, they don't really scare me that much. I mean, the AFC, the Patriots should easily get to the Super Bowl. I don't really see any big roadblocks in their way. Chris?
I think the matchup is going to be kind of like what Tyler said. Patriots are just going to be yes, Steelers have a very talented squad, but the Patriots are always going to be a step ahead of them. So I think they're going to win, not effortlessly, but with some degree of ease and head into the Super Bowl.
I agree.
On the other side of the board, we got
the NFC.
Yeah, the NFC.
One question for you guys: if the Patriots do end up playing the Steelers, so the big thing with Belichick, with the way he schemes is you take away the best player. Yep. Who would you, if you could only take away one guy, and devote your attention to? Would it be Brown or Bell?
Antonio Brown.
Well, here's the thing. One's a running back, one's a wide receiver. So, obviously, with Brown, you're going to put Butler on him. And then I'd put a McCourty on him over the top for some help. And then that should at least mitigate him or minimize his impact in the game. And then a guy like Bell, where, you can have your whole front seven set up on him. So, it is possible to kind of
control.
To maybe control them. They're each great players, so they're going to make big plays. That's just how it is. But it is possible to control both of them.
Boy, something that's scary, though, Le'Veon Bell running out for a route with Van Noy or McClellan covering him. That's scary.
I think
is that not scary?
That's why, I don't know, Jamie Collins trade could.
He was an overrated.
Collins was overrated.
Coverage.
I think we're going to see that a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be scary.
Some wheel routes just.
Nobody on the Patriots can cover a wheel route. The linebackers, it's just a constant turning door of
just send them up the field.
Next guy up, burnt. Next guy up, burnt. It's the same thing over and over again.
In the NFC, I say we should each say our matchup before we say it because we have some variations. I have the Falcons versus the Packers, and I have the Packers.
I think we have the same bracket.
I have neither.
I have the Packers going to the Super Bowl. I just think that, like I've said before, Aaron Rodgers is going to stay hot. It's going to be a very close game, very high-scoring game, and the Packers are going to prevail, go to the Super Bowl. Big matchup. Rematch of 1997, I think.
Nice.
Yep.
So I have the same matchup, too, but I pick Atlanta in this. This is
You're better than that, Mark.
Ever since like week 4, I've been saying that like I'm kind of in on the Falcons.
I'm
this
in on
year.
the Falcons as well.
Mark,
They could
pray to
easily
God
win.
You're right, because the Patriots would stomp on them. It would give me no worries, because whenever the Patriots go in the Super Bowl,
You just fail to recognize
a
that
heart
Atlanta
attack.
is the best offense in football.
they stink.
Based on what? Give me one reason. Give me one reason.
Because they stink.
Because they stink for the last 3 years, so they aren't good now. Like
'Cause they're
that
Atlanta.
I don't take that as a valid
They're-
reason.
they're-
So I think Atlanta
Yeah.
can make it happen.
You want to hear my input?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, what's your matchup,
So I
Chris?
have Dallas and Seattle. I picked Seattle because I think the inexperience on Dallas, the rookiness, and versus the
Veteranness.
The veteran
the-
battle-tested
the
Seahawks.
veteranness of the battle-tested Seahawks, and it's gonna be a close one, no doubt. Maybe some overtime action.
I would love to see that matchup.
But hey, I got Seattle going. Not much more to say than that.
The NFC playoffs are going to be great. I would say that. In my NFC Championship game, I have the New York Football Giants against the Seattle Seahawks, and in a very close game. And one thing you'll see, I have the Giants winning by a field goal every game. I have a 27-24 victory by the New York Football Giants over the Seahawks. The Giants, whenever they get in the playoffs, they always scare me, and I'm not gonna knock them out. No, the Giants are gonna win. I think these are the two best teams in the NFC, in my opinion. They're gonna meet. It's gonna be close. Two best defenses in the NFC, probably in the NFL. Giants are gonna win, and Eli's gonna just. I'm having nightmares now.
Okay,
I know
so
I'm
now
right.
we're on to our Super Bowl matchups. Joe, let's have you go first, because if this Super Bowl matchup were to happen, it would be the biggest game in sports.
Then save me for last. Save me for last.
Yeah, same for last.
All right, fine. But all right,
Build it
so
up.
I'll go first.
Build it up.
I have Green Bay against New England in the Super Bowl, and I was conflicted, but I can't. I have to be a homer. I'm picking the Patriots. So Brady gets his 5th. I just think that Aaron Rodgers' magic could eventually run out if he doesn't play that good. Maybe a good game plan souped up by Bill Belichick against him, and they slow him down. And if they get down a couple touchdowns, I don't see them coming back. So, and it's Mike McCarthy versus Bill Belichick, and that's a huge mismatch. So I'm going with the Patriots to win the Super Bowl.
Do you guys want to hear mine?
Oh yeah.
All right, so I have Detroit and Oakland. I mean, New England and Seattle. The rematch. And here's my score prediction. You ready?
I'm ready.
20-14 Seattle.
Ooh. Going with the Seahawks.
I am going with the Seahawks.
Wow.
And I think it's it's a 6-point game, so like kind of close, but like not too close. I wish I could say the Patriots were gonna win, but I think Seattle's just got it in them, and I really can't give much more of a reason than that. And I'm not just gonna make up some like far-fetched reasons and other things like that. I'm just feeling it for Seattle right now.
So for those of you following along with all these different teams and matchups, I have the Patriots and the Falcons in the Super Bowl. But I got to pick the Patriots. I mean, come on, they're the best team. They're the best team in football right now. Brady is obviously having one of his best seasons ever.
Didn't he tie his like completion rating from like 10
God, I don't
years
know.
ago or something?
He broke the
He
record.
broke the
for
re- yeah.
touchdown
Yeah.
to interceptions.
Yeah,
So, I
his
mean,
ratio. Yeah, that's.
Can you really argue with that? I don't think so. And after a pretty easy road to the Super Bowl to begin with, where you have the Falcons or Green Bay or the Giants, whoever it is, they really have to run through the gauntlet. So I mean, they're gonna be kind of worn out, hopefully, and then the Patriots are gonna come in and just beat up on them. That's really the best case scenario.
I remember. Obviously, there's the years we had Randy Moss and Wes Welker, but I think Brady's excellent at working with less resources. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
Matt Ryan's got, he's got Larry Fitz and
No, he is Julio
I'm sorry,
Jones.
Julio Jones and.
That's really the only big name.
Freeman's kind of a big name, but he's
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, all right.
I mean, like without Gronk, I don't think that's going to be a problem if they play Atlanta. You know
They
what I
play
mean?
Atlanta. Put Jimmy G back there, and
Okay, well,
put Jacoby Brissett in. Bring in Johnny Manziel for all I care. Bring in Brock. I don't care. Atlanta stinks. I've said it enough.
all right, Joe, what do you got?
All right.
Drum roll.
So
No. All right.
in the trilogy in Super Bowl 51, I have the New England Patriots facing the New York Giants. For the third time, my life will be ruined as the New York Giants will beat the New England Patriots again by a field goal, 23-20. And I will say, in that game, Odell Beckham Jr. will not have more than 5 catches and 50 yards or a touchdown.
Nice.
It will not be Odell Beckham who destroys them. It might not even be Victor Cruz.
Eli Manning will have.
It'll be some guy who
rushing
you don't
touchdowns.
know, or some guy that's just emerged as a star and
just pops out of
just
nowhere.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible. It's gonna. And
Well,
Eli,
look, that kind of all comes back to how Belichick likes to take the big names away. So it opens the door for a David Tyree, a Mario Manningham,
A
a Chris Matthews. So these guys they have the chance to make a play. And, I mean, come on, they're NFL players. They're going to do it eventually.
and the Giants defense just scares me way.
If Joe's
much.
matchup were to happen, would this
No,
be
look.
the biggest sporting event of the last 50 years?
Ready? This is the thing with the Giants.
I
The
don't know.
Giants themselves don't scare me. What
I
scares me
don't
about
think
the
so.
Giants is if the Giants win, what would happen afterwards? Because really, if that does happen, Patriots are 0-3 against the Giants in the Super Bowl, everything that the Patriots stand for is kind of torn down. I mean, for the past 16, 15 years, whatever it's been, the Patriots could always say, we're the best. We're the best. Nobody can touch us. Well, I guess that's not really true anymore if you lose to the Giants again. So,
Yeah. No, yeah, totally. I don't think if that matchup were to happen, which I hope it does not, I don't think you should write off the Pats. I think it's going to be a battle.
One thing I will
And
say,
it's just whatever team shows up ready.
it depends on the uniforms. If the Giants are wearing white, book it. Giants are winning.
I
All
like
right.
the science that went into that. I guess that'll do it for today.
that it?
I
No,
hope I'm
mean,
wrong.
does anyone else want to add anything?
Quickly,
MVP.
NFL MVP picks. I have Matt Ryan.
also Matt Ryan.
Dak.
Derek
Wow.
Carr, MVP. He made I was gonna swear, a very bad
Thank you for
team,
not.
a very bad team, good, and give them a good record.
I was just gonna say Dak rose to the challenge when Tony lost his limbs.
Tony Romo's better than Dak
And he
Prescott.
broke his torso, and Dak showed up and
Well, you want to know what I
Did a
don't
good job.
understand real quick?
he
Do
did
they do this on purpose where, the MVP doesn't win Offensive Player of the Year? 'Cause I don't, if
Probably.
the MVP is supposed to be the best player, wouldn't he win the Best Offensive Player award too?
That would make sense.
But whatever.
it
I
kinda
don't get
goes
that.
Well,
If-
I
They
mean,
probably just want to spread it around. I
Yeah,
get it. Whatever.
If Dak or Zeke were to win MVP, then the other one would probably win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, all right.
All right. I think
share the
that's it.
wealth. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This will be an exciting week in sports. Can't wait to talk to you in the aftermath. We'll see you.